Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is the mid-year book freakout tag. I've been doing this tag for a couple of years now, so I wasn't necessarily tagged by anybody, but I will leave the original video down below. This is a little mid-year check-in that is a little bit different than the other video I recently did on my goals, because this is more about specific books that I have already read in the first half of the year. So the first question is best book of the year so far. Overwhelmingly, this is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, but I don't quite feel that this is fair for me to say because it's not actually out yet, so I do have another answer for a book that's actually out already that I've read. And that is Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett, which I also absolutely adored and is another favorite of the year, and it's already released. It was released last year, so you could read it now. The best sequel I've read so far this year, and that is definitely Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This could also fit in, favorite book you've read so far this year. This book was amazing, what I've been waiting for. I'm absolutely okay with however long she takes to write any of her books because I always know they're going to be fantastic. I love the character arcs that the characters go on in each individual book, as well as what is being built on for the entire series. So much character growth. It's so delicious. A new release that I haven't yet read. I have two for this, and that is We Hunt the Flame and Sorcery of Thorns. These two I am very, very much looking forward to. I've been hearing really great things about them. I was already looking forward to them before they both came out, and now that they're both out, I've been hearing continually amazing things about them, so I'm very excited to get to these. Hopefully pretty soon, because I think I'm going to read at least one of these this month, fingers crossed. Then my most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and that is obviously Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Duh, of course, of course. Also The Starless Sea, but I've already read that, but like these two were my most anticipated releases of the entire year. Then we have biggest disappointment of the year so far. So I've had a handful of disappointments this year, but mostly from books that I was cautiously optimistic about. The two books I want to talk about are books that I was for sure thinking were going to be 5-star reads, and then they weren't. So even though they weren't awful books, and they're books in series I'm still going to continue with, they were disappointing because I was convinced they were going to be 5-star reads. And those two are Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan and King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I have reviews for both of these if you want to check out my in-depth thoughts, but both of these I was pretty convinced they were going to be right up my alley. I would have no problems, and they just were not. Wicked Saints I just had different expectations for, and this just felt a little more unrefined than what I was looking for, and I just had expectations for how the villain main character romance was going to go. And then for King of Scars, I also just had different ideas. I was very not on board necessarily with Nikolai not being the main character of his duology. Confused, but obviously I still love the Christopher's. I still plan on continuing with both of these series. They just were 3 to 3.5 star reads for me, and not the 5 stars that I was definitely completely expecting. I would have bet lots of money on that. Then we have biggest surprise of the year so far, and that goes to The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I loved this book. It still had some of its flaws, but for a adult contemporary romance, I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. And really the biggest surprise is that I was dipping my toes into romance. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the year if I was going to be reading adult romance, I would have been like, hell no. And now I'm like, I could read more. Number 7 is new favorite author. Now this is supposed to be for a debut author or a new to you author. I don't have any favorite new to me authors or favorite debut authors. A lot of those people that I've read I haven't loved and would consider a favorite. So I'm gonna go with Madeline Miller, specifically because of Circe. So I read The Song of Achilles a couple of years ago and really liked it. Circe solidified Madeline Miller as an auto-buy author now for me. I was not sure if the first book of hers was gonna be a fluke, but it was not, and I deeply enjoy what she does with myth and mythology and story and everything, so I'm definitely looking forward for her future books, and she's definitely a favorite author now. Please write a Persephone story, Madeline Miller, I am begging you. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush, and I do not have any. All of my fictional crushes that I really am loving from books are characters that I've known for a while. So I don't have any brand new ones really. Then question number 9 is newest favorite character. I think that's gonna be a tie between Mia from Nevernight and also all of the characters in Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. All of these characters kind of took me by surprise. Both of these books I was pretty certain I was going to enjoy, but the characters are what I end up enjoying the most. I love Mia and can't wait to get to more of her story. I also really enjoyed, like I said, every character in Foundry Side, so I'm definitely excited to see where they go. And both of the characters in both of these books were kind of characters that could have been tropey. because the main character in that book, and also some of the other side characters, there's a main character of being a thief, there's a side character that's kind of like a, you know, lawful good type character, and they're sort of like a mad scientist. Those could have all been tropey, but they weren't. Mia as an assassin could have been tropey, but I didn't feel that she was. So all these characters were a lot more nuanced than I expected them to be, which catapulted them into favorite status. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. I don't believe I've cried at any books this year. If I cried at any or felt my heartstrings tugged at, I think it would have been Circe by Madeline Miller. I am just so connected to Circe, and I felt like she's sort of a tragic character, and Madeline Miller does write tragedy really well, so I definitely enjoyed and felt emotion for whenever she was going through something really difficult, because I just was so connected to it. Number 11, a book that made you happy. That would be, again, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I was giddy the entire time. I was getting like goosebumpy like love feelings, you know, like by proxy. And I just really enjoyed like this entire journey. There was, again, things that I would have changed, especially about like parts of the end that were a little bit wrapped up too quickly, which I'll talk about in the review, I'm sure. But I just really enjoyed this. This had all the things that I like. It had like enemies to lovers, fake dating, which in reality in here is like fake marriage. There's some like bed sharing hint things, just like confessions of love. I loved it. The next question is the most beautiful book that you've gotten so far this year. I think that's gonna have to go to Sorcery of Thorns. This cover is just so beautiful. This is the Owl Crate Special Edition, but the original cover is also stunning. It just speaks to me. I love the illustrator. I believe it's Charlie Bowater. And I just love everything about these covers, and like oh yeah, it's so pretty. So these covers are gonna draw me in. Margaret Ryderson has had good luck with covers so far in her career. And the last question is books you want to read by the end of the year. So I've already done my mid-year goals video, so I will link that on the screen as well as down below, so you can check that out if you haven't, because I talk about my end of the year TBR, in which I pick 5 books that I want to read by the end of the year, and I go over it all there. So if you're interested in more of my in-depth check-in with my goals, but also a very significant section on what the books are that I plan to really prioritize by the end of the year, check that out. So that is it for my mid-year book check-ins that I've been doing so far. So comment down below and let me know some of your answers to some of these questions as far as the favorite book that you've read so far this year and things like that, especially if you feel like I might enjoy them. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!